whatever. I want Russ on there.
All right. With that being said,
Well, that means lights out. That means the episode's over, guys.
I was just going to say that. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Rich Perez welcoming you back into another dose of your weekly rundown. Of course, joined in with me as always, my guy right here, Kayson Davis. How you doing, Kay?
Yo, welcome back, everybody. Feels good to be back. I got my Westbrook in the back. I got my Westbrook shirt on, man. I feel like it's gonna be a good episode. Shout out Russ.
Not playing around. Just when we think, it could be a slow news week, we could be reading off some updates to you guys again. Something pops up, and it's not the NBA. Even though this is primarily a hoops podcast, Sunday night, I got the text from you, Cam Newton, signing with the Patriots 1 year, I believe $7.5 million. A lot of talk about Jarrett Stidham, being that starter for them up until this point. I think it's kind of safe to say Cam's going to be the guy. The interesting thing about Cam signing with the Patriots was the fact that literally right before the news of Cam Newton signing with the Patriots came out, some news came out about them being fined for, filming the Bengals practice before they played them. So, just a little strategic things going on over there in New England. I know we're not used to, but anyway, we got to get to the big news, man. Cam Newton, former league MVP, led the Carolina Panthers to a Super Bowl, was abruptly cut by the Carolina Panthers just a few months ago with no real heads up. He is signing with the New England Patriots. The expectation is he will be the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots. And my whole perspective on the New England Patriots has completely changed. I didn't think this team was really going to do anything up until this signing. I went from saying I could see them finishing as low as third in that division to saying that they're Super Bowl contenders. And I'm very serious about this. I've said on this podcast, I believe that too much blame went on those receivers last year as opposed to Tom Brady. And don't get me wrong, those receivers are not devoid of blame. However, I believe some of that blame should have went to Tom Brady, as we've talked about on here before. I think Cam Newton the New England Patriots are going to be better with Cam Newton this upcoming season than they were with Tom Brady a year ago. I fully expect that they win that division again, like they have been, and they like I said, they're Super Bowl contenders. I think at the very least they're in the divisional round. What you say to that?
I'm not sure yet. I love the signing like you do. I think it's a great signing. I think it's kind of a win-win for both parties involved. I think with the Patriots, I think it's a win-win. You get him on a cheap deal, and then you get him for this 1 year and see if he's healthy. Because a lot of concerns with Cam, even in the last couple of years, was is he going to be healthy or is he not? So you get him on a 1 year cheap deal. You figure, like you said, he's going to be your starter. So if he can come and play to the level that we know Cam can play, which we all really expect him to play, I think it's a win for them. And for Cam, kind of the same thing. I think he probably wish he signed for more, but we kind of don't know what the market was like. And I think a lot of people kind of have the same concerns. Like I was just saying that we don't know how his body's gonna react and how healthy he is. So they say he passed all his physicals and stuff like that. I think him and I think the Patriots kind of a good match. I think they're both motivated. I think Cam's motivated to get back out there and show people that he can play at an MVP level and get back to where he was before. And I think, Bill Belichick to say, not just the Patriots, but Bill Belichick, I think he wants to show people that it wasn't just Tom Brady or it wasn't just him and Tom Brady, and that he can really do it on his own. And kind of the way they kind of broke up there, we kind of don't know how they are with each other. So I think he's kind of motivated too to get back out there and say that, yeah, I can do it without Tom Brady. So to see them in the divisional round, I think it's kind of tough. I think when do they still have to kind of get through the Baltimore Ravens or the Kansas City Chiefs?
That would probably be in the divisional round, though.
Well, I thought they would have to play at least one of them before the divisional round, or no?
Nah, because before the divisional round, you got the wild card game, and I don't think the Baltimore Ravens or the Kansas City Chiefs are playing a wild card. So
No. Okay. Well, all right. Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be tough for them to make it to the Super Bowl, just having to play one of those teams. But I guess I could see them in the division around. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, I don't know why you made a face when I said I think that they're going to be better than they were with Tom Brady a year ago. Can we talk about it?
Let's
Um,
talk about it.
Look, man, like I just said earlier, I don't think enough blame went to Tom Brady, as opposed to those receivers. I think that lack of success there was a collective effort. The one thing that we've always said, how many times have we said Tom Brady has amazing receivers? You know, people have always given him credit for kind of making receivers, but now all of a sudden when he's in his 40s, it's all he's got nobody. You know, now in Tampa he's got this great group. But tell me what quarterback can't succeed when they've got an abundance of talent around him? Cam I think, um, while not the most accurate passer, is accurate enough. You know, he was having a good year in Carolina before he got hurt. The last 2 years actually have been better years for him as a passer than anything else. But I think overall he's going to be able to change up the scheme that the New England Patriots put out there. You know, Tom Brady was never much of a runner. He pretty slow. Cam Newton, you know, we all remember the Superman days. He can come out there. He takes hits. And you know he can get the ball out when he needs to. So I think that's going to be a big deal. I think he's got an amazing coaching staff around him. They still got to do some things with that line. They have a very good defense. Like I just can't see how they can't be successful. And I mean it's crazy because like I said, my whole perspective on that team changed within the span of an hour of that news coming out.
I definitely see a lot of your points. My thing is that we kind of don't know how healthy Cam is right now, and we all expect that he is 100% healthy, but we don't know if he's going to be able to stay healthy throughout the season. So I think even like you just said, the Patriots are kind of going to have to switch their game plan up a little bit to kind of match up with kind of what Cam does because he's not as good of a thrower as Tom Brady. So if you take what people were saying, like you were just saying, like that his receiving core wasn't as good, like yes, you probably put some the blame on Tom Brady, but you didn't get a better passer in there. So, Cam is usually known for his athleticism, stuff like that. And like you say, he's not a terrible passer, but I don't think anyone would say he's a better passer than Tom Brady. So I don't think that necessarily gets the receiving core over the top to maybe what Tom Brady. Maybe Cam could get the best out of them, but I think that it's kind of to me it's a lot of unknowns. We kind of don't know if Cam's going to be fully healthy. We kind of don't know. I mean, we all trust Bill Belichick to be able to adjust to whichever kind of group he has. But we've seen him with Tom Brady for a long time, so we have to see how he's kind of going to be able to adjust. See how Cam's going to be able to adjust, and maybe even some of the wide receivers. See how they're going to be able to adjust the Cam and how he kind of plays. So I think it's kind of a lot of unknowns. I do expect them to be successful still. Like I said, I expect them to be in the playoffs and all that. So, but I just think for me to say that they're going to be better than what they were last year with Tom Brady, I think it's kind of like still a lot of unknowns, but they do have the potential. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, man. And one other thing to point out that I thought was just really cool within the spectrum of the AFC conference as a whole. Look at the best quarterbacks in there, man. Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Now you got Cam Newton in there. All black quarterbacks, man. It's whoa. It's it's just great to see, you know, with where we've been at and everything. So I want to give a shout out there. You're right. We will definitely see how things go, but I think it's gonna go great. You know, you talk about being highly motivated. I don't know anybody who's more motivated than Cam is right now. You know, he said it himself. The Carolina Panthers just gave up on him, and I mean, he. If we want to be honest, the last 2 years before the injuries, he was, you know, to a very low degree or a low key degree, I should say, playing better than his MVP season. Like I said, he was
Yeah,
throwing the best that we've ever seen. He had some, he had Christian McCaffrey with him. they were doing good things over there before he was able to get hurt. I just think a highly motivated Cam Newton, if he can stay healthy, then, and I'm no New England Patriots fan, but watch out for that team with the mind of Bill Belichick along with him, man.
Yeah, definitely. They could be a dangerous team. But like I said, with Cam and with him still playing the way that he plays, he's always going to be the athletic kind of hitting, run into people type of guy. So with the way he plays, it's just kind of unknown and kind of all the injuries he's had. So it's kind of unknown that if he could stay healthy for the whole year. So I think if he can stay healthy for the whole year, like you said, there's probably no one more motivated to him than with the Panthers giving up on him. And like I said about Bill Belichick, I think he's just as motivated too to show that he can win without Tom Brady. Just like I'm sure Tom Brady's just as motivated to show that he can win without him. So I think you got two motivated people over there, and the coaching staff, like we know, they're great over there. So they can get on the same page and get on the same page early. I definitely think they can make some noise, but to just go out right now and say that they're going to be better, I'm just going to have to see a little more before I say they're just better than the Tom Brady team.
And that's fair. That's very fair. You know, and the good thing for Cam too is what he's going to be able to do with this. You know, however, you know, I believe he's going to make the best of this opportunity. You know, so and where do you go from here after this? Does he sign another deal with the New England Patriots? Does he play well enough where the Patriots are like, all right, we don't need to bring you back. We're going to go with Stidham, or we might have somebody else in mind. But he plays well enough where he can get a long term deal somewhere else. So that's my first question to you, number one. And then number two, since you're talking about, you know, Belichick, you know, trying to outdo Tom Brady in a sense, who's winning first? Tom Brady with the Bucks or Bill Belichick with Cam Newton?
That's just the two good questions. To start with your first one, I'm gonna say if he plays to the level we think Cam Newton can play, I think it's a no brainer that they try to re-sign him. I don't think you don't bring him in here right now to kind of have him on a 1 year deal. I mean, they still have Stidham, like you said, but Cam, if he can get back to how he plays, that's an MVP caliber player. You just lost Tom Brady. So to have Cam come in and play at an MVP caliber level, I think it's a no-brainer to sign him back in. I think the 1 year deal was just a safety kind of thing to make sure that he's 100% healthy. He can get back to where he can. I think if he didn't have these injury problems coming into this, I think that it would probably been no-brainer that they signed him. And maybe he probably wouldn't have been on the market because the Panthers probably would have kept him. But if he was on the market and he wasn't injured, I think they would have signed him to a longer deal right now. It's just they have to kind of protect themselves with not giving him too much money and then have to worry about injuries. So I think this is kind of like a test to see like is he going to be healthy? If he's healthy, I think they they both work out a deal for him to stay. And to answer your second question, with how it looks right now, and things can change, I'm gonna have to go with Tom Brady. I I, I like what's going on over there. He got Gronk to come back with him. I think I think they have a real shot to win. If not, I think he doesn't have as much time left, maybe as Belichick does. So I think he has a real shot to maybe to get one this year, and if not, maybe next year. So I think Tom Brady's kind of on the clock now, and he doesn't have as much time as Bill Belichick. And I think their team right now is just maybe a little better than the Patriots.
Oh, we'll see. You know how I feel about Tom Brady in this stage of his career, and I've definitely told you on this podcast as well that I don't think the Bucks are going to be as good as everyone thinks they are. But you know, we'll definitely see. So ready to switch gears here.
Yeah.
um, let's get right to the NBA. I want to get to some quick news first. Alonzo Trier, who is an undrafted free agent for the New York Knicks. Kind of a bright spot for them too. Uh, he was released. You know, waived. You know, just kind of what are your thoughts on this? This was a little shocking to me.
Yeah, same. I think it's a little shocking, a little random because the Knicks aren't coming back into the bubble, so they're not going to play any more games. So I don't see the kind of the point of waiving him right now. I guess maybe they seen something before this all happened, and maybe they plan on waiving him anyway. But I think, like you said, he's been kind of a bright spot for him from the day one when he stepped in there. I remember his rookie year, him having highlights and Knicks fans being kind of high on him, especially being undrafted. So I'm kind of confused, maybe with the new management there in place that they maybe seen something they didn't like about him. Maybe there's something going on behind the scenes. But like you said, I think it's a little confusing, a little random. I think maybe it could have waited if they was gonna do it. But I think if they were gonna do it, I guess just do it. But I think, like I said, it's random. I can't really kind of wrap my head around it. I think he was playing well for them. I think even with the new management, I think that's a player who you could probably keep for cheap and just bring him back. He was definitely a solid bench player.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, that it was just interesting to see. But they do have a lot of guards over there too. So I guess maybe that was something that kind of played into a part. I know they picked somebody up or had somebody on a two-way deal, so that played a part in it as well. But I mean, I think I've had my critiques of him, but I also think that he can be a very good scorer off the bench for a solid team. He's definitely proven that so far. So it's a wait and see. It's a wait and see game. I absolutely believe that he'll be picked up. Maybe not for the bubble city or anything, but come next season around, I fully expect for Alonzo Trier to be playing and getting significant minutes on the team.
Definitely, and I think you can get him for a good deal. So I definitely think, like you said, he's going to get picked up. If someone's going to get him for a good deal, he's going to be a great six man or seventh man off the bench.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, the other thing, what was it, 16 player out of the 300 plus players that are entering the bubble city. About 16 players are tested positive for coronavirus. Two name players of significance as well, specifically for the Brooklyn Nets. Spencer Dinwiddie and DeAndre Jordan were two of those players as well. Um, Interesting stuff to come out. I believe Malcolm Brogdon also tested positive, guard for the Indiana Pacers. You know, I don't think it's terrible considering you have 300 plus players coming in and only about 16 or so have tested positive. That's not a bad number. But with everything going on, and we talked about this last week, with everything going on in Florida and having, a few players test positive, a couple who are pretty significant to their teams as well. Do you expect this to affect the return to play moving forward?
No, like you said, I don't think the numbers are that bad. I think I seen Woj say on ESPN, and shout out to Woj. I think he said that the NBA kind of expected the numbers to be a little higher. I think he also said that there's maybe some numbers that are not being considered in there, like Joker, Jokic. That's how you say his name, right? Jokic,
Nikola Jokic.
Jokic. Okay. Yeah, excuse me. But him being overseas back home in Serbia, I think he said his numbers are not being considered. But I don't think the numbers are that bad. I don't know if I expected higher, but I think 16 out of 352 players are not that bad. So I don't think it's it's gonna stop the season. I think they're still gonna try and go ahead with it. I think what would stop the season is that I think because they caught it now before they got there, I think that's probably definitely not gonna stop the season. I think if 16 players had got it while they were in the bubble and got tested, I think it'd be more of a concern. I think the fact that they were able to catch it before they got to the bubble, I think they're just gonna isolate those players and let them decide if they want to come or not come. But I think catching it, with it not being a high number and catching it before, I think they feel comfortable to isolate them and then maybe get them back in there later on. So I think they probably feel like they did a good job catching it before they went.
Yeah. And to move on from there, I know you really wanted to get into this, so why don't you take it away as far as the schedule is coming out? There's some significant changes in there. I know Miami was a team that had like an easier schedule down the stretch. Now, not so much. I think they actually have the second toughest schedule, with the 8 games being played. But go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, definitely. The NBA, I think later last week, I think maybe Thursday, they released the schedule for all 22 teams coming back. With 8 teams not being there, you got to kind of replace some teams. And I guess we all seen this coming with, like I said, 8 teams not being there. I just think the schedule is kind of interesting. Like I think we had talked about this on here before. Just what is the NBA going to do with having all the teams in one bubble? Are they gonna play games all day? Like, are they gonna have some games at 1 o'clock, some games later on in the day, some back to back to back to backs? So with the schedule coming out, we kind of seen that. I seen a couple of games where that start at 1 p.m., which is going to be interesting to see how teams react to that, because I don't think there's ever been a time where we had games at 1 p.m. Actually, I think on like Martin Luther King Day and Christmas and stuff like that. So besides it being like a holiday or something like that kind of game, we don't really see games that early. And then see games back to back to back kind of all day. Especially some of the games are going to be during the weekday, when people are at work. So we see how the numbers look for that. It'd be interesting. But I think the schedule wise, I think the Rockets have a tough schedule. I think uh most of the teams off the top of my head, without being able to look at it right now, I think most of the teams when I seen it, I actually commented on it when it first came out. The Rockets kind of have a pretty tough schedule ahead, especially coming out. I think they start off against the Lakers, so they kind of come out and hit the ground running.
First game is
The
for the
Mavs, I think, for the Rockets.
Rockets. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I think it's the Lakers or the Mavs, or it's the Mavs and the Lakers. But for the Rockets, they kind of hit the ground running as soon as the season starts. So I think the Rockets kind of have no wiggle room, especially with them being in the sixth seed. And I think that like I said, their schedule is kind of tough.
Yeah, but I mean, you know how I feel about the Rockets. Um, I think they're gonna hit the ground running once again. So I'm not too worried about their schedule. You got two guys that are up to the challenge, and very interested to see what James Harden looks like now that he's got like a whole new body.
Yeah, but with him coming back with a new body, like you said, they kind of have their two guys, which you know you're gonna get out of them. But they're coming back, and I guess no game here is kind of a warm up game. But like I said, they kind of hit the ground running. They're already in the sixth seed, so I'm pretty sure they kind of want to work their way up out of that sixth seed. And I guess you can maybe look at it as a challenge when they're coming in and they're getting the Mavs right away, they're getting the Lakers right away. But trying to come off and knock that rust off against games that kind of, I guess all games here kind of automatically count. But like the first game back against the Lakers, I feel like it's kind of a tough game. So I feel like they have no real space to kind of start off slow here in the bubble, kind of being in the sixth seed already. But yeah, like I said, I just think their schedule is kind of tough.
Two TNT games to start us off too on Thursday of the 30th. It's coming up, people. 6:30 p.m. Utah versus the New Orleans Pelicans, and then at 9 p.m. Eastern time, I'm sure we'll all be watching the Clippers versus the Lakers.
Oh yeah, I forgot they're starting off with another Clippers versus Lakers, another LA showdown to start off. So well, we all know that's kind of like the marquee game everybody wants to see, but I think that's going to be interesting for both teams to kind of come out the gate and play each other right off the bat, which the two teams we kind of expect to be in the Western Conference Finals for the most part. So to get each other right off the back, I mean, you know, it's probably going to bring the ratings, and that's kind of what they want. But I think that's kind of tough for both teams. But I guess they started this season off playing each other, so I guess it'd be kind of more of the same.
Yeah, most def. Um, do you let's get into it. Of the team, the non-playoff teams making the bubble, only one non-playoff team got in from the East, which is the Washington Wizards, a team that I think we can both agree, while not a great team, they've been very fun to watch this season, high scoring, even though they give up a lot of points, but everybody likes to see it. Unless you're just a basketball purist. And then you've got the Phoenix Suns, the Sacramento Kings, the Portland Trailblazers, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the San Antonio Spurs in the West. Of all these teams I named, who do you expect to get in?
I
Specifically with the schedule coming out now, getting a chance to see who's doing what. I know the Wizards are about 5 games out from the eighth seed in the East.
I personally would have to go with the Blazers. I just think Damian Lillard will come out motivated, and out of all the teams left, I think the Blazers are the only team that has a star or a superstar, depending on how you consider Damian Lillard. I would probably consider him a superstar. So the only team left with like a superstar who's kind of been there, and then he still has C.J. McCollum. So two dominant scorers and two people who kind of been there and been have run their team to the playoffs, kind of been there, done that type of thing. So I think the Memphis to me is kind of too young and coming back out of the bubble. Who knows how they're kind of gonna come back? So I think I don't know how much veterans they have on there, but I don't think a lot. So I think they're kind of gonna have a little problem coming back, just being young. And I think the Pelicans are kind of the same problem. I think they're gonna kind of just being young. I think they kind of might fall off to a team like the Blazers who are more veteran ready and stuff like that. And they're still getting some players back from injury, so it's been kind of good for them. I think San Antonio losing LaMarcus Aldridge, I think that's going to make it tough for them to get in. And then for Phoenix, I think Phoenix losing Kelly Oubre is kind of tough for them too. And then I think they were kind of falling off. They kind of started the season hot and they're kind of falling off. I think Devin Booker will make it interesting, but I don't think he'll be able to get them in there.
Yeah, I think the Portland Trailblazers is a team that nobody really wants to see right now. They're getting everybody back. You know, they've been riddled with injuries the entire season. Their front office pretty much had to reshuffle the roster over there with everybody getting hurt. But every Collison's coming back. Um, they got a good group of guys coming back along with CJ and Dame. You still got Melo. Ariza's not coming back. I think that's going to hurt them. But that's a team that's going to be a scary team coming out. Excuse me, and not to mention the fact they're coming off a Western Conference Finals appearance a year ago. Dame came out and said he plans on not staying having a short stay in the bubble city. He wants to get out there and continue to extend his stay. And I kind of agree. I think that even though I'd like to see what I want to see one of those two rookies get in there, whether it be Ja or Zion, just to see what they look like in that playoff atmosphere. It's a little different playoff atmosphere, but nonetheless a playoff atmosphere. I'm totally on board with you that Portland to get in there. Did you see the reports that the NBA is kind of pushing for a Pelicans Lakers first round?
I definitely see I definitely did see those reports, and I don't blame them. I mean, Zion is who everyone wants to see, and definitely Bron is still selling out. So I'm pretty sure everyone would love to see a Zion versus Bron matchup. I think the report said they're kind of comparing it to Michael Jordan versus the Celtics, and what was it, '86 type of thing. So to me, I think it's kind of a long shot. Like I said, we both kind of just picked the Blazers. Like I said, the Blazers have a superstar and another star, a co-star to go with him who kind of been there, done that. And I think, like I kind of said with the Rockets, when we get into the bubble, I feel like every game is kind of a playoff game because all 8 games kind of matter. So I feel like as soon as we kind of hit the ground running with the season coming back, every game's a playoff game. And with that being said, I just think I'm gonna have to go with the team that has a superstar and a co-star to go with them.
Yeah, no, we're fully on board here, and we're fast approaching. This is coming up at the end of the month. I like it. I like it. I know one thing we still kind of don't have clarification on is exactly how they're gonna get these games going. Like I was just looking through my NBA app. Like I noticed there'll be a game on. They're setting us off nice with two TNT games, and then of course they're gonna have a game on NBA TV at right after that, and then the same day is supposed to be another game on ESPN. Just still trying to kind of figure out how they're gonna work out, the scheduling these games. Because everybody's from what we know, everybody's gonna be in on the same court for the most part. So that'll be real interesting to check out. You got anything else for me?
I do have something else. I think a team to watch out for here in this bubble is the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Of
Call
course.
me a Thunder fan. Call me a Thunder fan. But I think the Thunder. I was looking at the schedule and I kind of have it here in front of me. They play the Clippers and the Lakers twice. They have Denver. They have Utah, which are two teams I think that are ahead of them right now. So those two are big games. They have Memphis. They have the Heat. They have Phoenix, and they have Washington. I'm going to go on a limb and say Washington and Phoenix are probably wins. I expect them to win those games. Then I think they'll probably lose to the Clippers and the Lakers. Maybe they could split one. I, I'm going to pick them to beat Memphis. I'm going to pick them to beat your Heat. And then I think the two games that matter the most is Denver versus Utah. If they come out and win those games, I guess if they come out and win those games, those two, I kind of just want to point those two games out. It's Denver versus Utah. I feel like if they win those games, they can move up here in the bubble. So those are two big games here. The rest of the games, I feel like they have to just kind of handle their business, and I think they'll be good. So I think they're a team to watch out for here.
All right.
Watch
Not
out
gonna,
for watch it.
not gonna be the
Watch out for the Thunder. They might make a move here. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna be watching, waiting for that Denver and that Utah game. So those are the two games towards moving up.
absolutely. I wanna pull up Houston schedule up just to see what they're at, because I know we talked about them, in the 6th seed right now.
Yeah, I think I kind of got Houston's schedule here. They'll play the Mavs first, then they'll play the Pacers, then they'll play the Lakers, they'll play the Bucks, the Sixers, the Blazers, the
All right.
Kings, and then the Spurs.
So first game back is the Mavericks. Could go either way. I'm kind of
Uh,
leaning towards Rockets. Call it a little bit of a bias there. They've got the but look, man. I can't get over how good they looked when they went to that small ball lineup against the best teams. And I just keep thinking about this rest and how these guys. First of all, these guys have been working out. I know we're kind of back and forth on what we expect James Harden to look like now that he's slimmed down a bit. Um, it could be deadly, man. I could see them beating the Mavericks, beating the Bucks, beating the Blazers. I could see them starting off. Let me see. I know it sounds crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know they're not going to do it. I could really see them going 8-0 in the
but
bubble.
but that's been the thing about the Rockets all year. We can see them going 8-0, and I can see them going 0-8. Probably not going to happen. I think 0-8 is a little more far fetched than 8-0. But like that's just my point is kind of that's how the Rockets are. You kind of don't know which team is kind of going to show up. We like how they look when they went to the small ball, but before the season had ended, they did lose I think like 4 in a row before they won that last one against the T Wolves. So, like I said, you don't know with all the rest and stuff like that, and them getting their legs back. I think I said on this podcast, I think that some of their problems right before the season had kind of got postponed was like their legs being tired and stuff like that. So for them to get their legs back, they could come out and go 8-0, but they could come out and go I don't know 4-6. So the Rockets to me are kind of always like a toss up team. If they play their best, they can win, but we just don't know like which Rockets team we're gonna get.
Yeah. Look, man, this is kind of like Mike D'Antoni's last stand over there. Seems like Daryl Morey's not going anywhere, but it's win or go home for Mike D'Antoni. They've got a lot invested in this team after making the trade for Russell Westbrook. The two have looked pretty good together. The small ball looked amazing. Call me crazy, man. This could be their year. And you know what I get tired about too? I'm tired of people calling this. I don't know if I brought this up before. I feel like I have, but I'm gonna say it again anyway. I am tired of people talking about how this is an asterisk championship. This is not an asterisk championship. This is going to be the hardest. I get it. There's a lot of factors going into this. Some people might not have their full lineups out there because guys are choosing just to sit out of the return to play, or some guys might be dealing with the coronavirus themselves. But at the end of the day, this is going to be the toughest championship for anybody to win because there's so many factors involved. The Denver Nuggets closed their facilities because of guys like Nikola Jokic testing positive for coronavirus. Just so these guys can't even really practice as the way they've kind of got accustomed to practicing since all of this came up. The Brooklyn Nets just reopened their practice facilities. Like there's so much going into this. And all these teams are dealing with things that they've never dealt before. And this is exactly why I just think this is whoever wins this championship, you really earned it because there was nothing easy about getting this done.
Definitely, I definitely agree. I don't think there's no asterisk on this one. I think, like you said, this is going to be one of the toughest ones with everything you just said. And some teams are coming back with a whole different roster. Like the Nets are probably coming back. What they lose like 4 or 5 players. The Nets are coming back with like a whole different roster. The Lakers lost Avery Bradley and now they're getting J.R. Smith. So like
We
some
didn't
teams
talk about
losing.
that. We did not even talk about that. Now we got to get into that.
Yeah, so this teams who left with certain starters and coming back without starters, and it's a whole new person. It's not like the person which is on the team and you're replacing them. Like you're coming back with like a whole new team. So to do that and still be able to get everything back together and get things focused on the championship, like I said, and there's no fans. You got to remember, there's going to be no fans, so there's no home court advantage here. So like, really, it's just so many moving pieces that I feel like you said, it's going to be one of the toughest ones.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about the no fans. That's something to look out for a team like Philly, who had the best record in the league at home, but as opposed to on the road, not so much. So for a team like Philly, when you talk about that no home court advantage, it's gonna be interesting to see how a team like that adjusts. I know they said Joel Embiid still looks like he's in pretty good shape. Ben Simmons, we want to see you start shooting some threes in live games. Don't do that. Um, but just things like that. But anyway, Swish is back.
He's back. He's
Avery
with Bron
Bradley.
again.
Yeah. Um. um. Yeah. Swish is back. I want to see how they work out these lineups because at the time Avery Bradley was the starting point guard. You had Rondo coming off the bench, and they had just signed Dion Waiters. So we didn't even get to see Dion Waiters as a Laker yet. We're going to. You have Dion Waiters and J.R. Smith on the same team. Two guys who are they're definitely not terrible 3-point shooters, but they are not great 3-point shooters. But they think that they're great 3-point shooters. So they're going to shoot that shot whenever they feel like it, and they believe it's going in every time. Obviously the Lakers, they're the number one seed in the West, got one of the best records in the league. You got two top 5 players in the league on that team, in LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Last time we saw LeBron James playing with J.R. Smith, J.R. Smith missed a clear putback to seal game 1 for the Cleveland Cavaliers against the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals because for some reason he thought that the Cavs were winning. How do you think that this is going to go?
I don't know. I think starting wise, I think they're gonna plug Caldwell Pope into the starting lineup. I think you give him the starting spot there. I
Or
don't think they're
Rondo?
gonna start. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna start Rondo. I think you just give the you let Bron play point, kind of like what he's been doing all year. I think they move KCP into the starting lineup and kind of let him take over the same thing Avery Bradley was doing, guarding some of the best wing defenders out there. West guarding some of the best wing players out there and stuff like that. So I think JR probably come off the bench. The thing that you bring up with him and Dion Waiters is kind of interesting. I mean, they're like you said, they're both not the greatest shooters, but they're both going to shoot. I think they're both kind of knuckleheads off the court too. So that's going to be interesting to see too. So I think they're going to be taking shots on and off the court. Shots ahead and on and off the court. So that's going to be interesting to see how Bron kind of pulls all that back together and kind of pulls the Lakers together. That's why I said it's interesting to see. Some teams are kind of having a whole changeover and bringing in new personnel. It's going to see just to see how him and J.R. Smith and Dion Waiters get along. Are they going to get along? Are they going to kind of go at each other and things like that?
I think they get
Yeah,
along. I don't think it's going to be
I,
any.
I think so too. But you never know what could possibly happen. I think Dion Waiters is kind of on a he's kind of trying to prove himself too. So I think he's going to do anything to kind of any knucklehead stuff to kind of get him looked at in a bad light again. So I think everything can kind of work out. But like I said, you never know. It's a lot to there's a lot of unknowns coming into this. So that's the interesting part.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely focused on how the minutes are getting distributed there. It's kind of the same thing because like it's crazy that they were talking about how minutes are going to get distributed with the Clippers with all of these guys that they were signing. You know, Reggie Jackson. Um, when those they still had Landry Shamet over there at the time. Um, just a bunch of Noah. Montrezl Harrell, all Lou Williams, all these guys. How exactly are you going to go about distributing these minutes? But now, like when I look at the Lakers, it's kind of the same thing, especially with that guard play. You got KCP, Danny Green, Rajon Rondo, Avery Bradley's gone, so now you got J.R. Smith, Dion Waiters. Is that exactly how are you going to be able to distribute these minutes? One thing I want to point out that's interesting in having this conversation, if we go back to the 2018 season for the Cleveland Cavaliers, Dwayne Wade was the starting 2 guard for the Cleveland Cavaliers going into that season before he went to Tyronn Lue and said just move him to the bench because J.R. Smith really wasn't adapting well to his role on the bench. I want to see, especially with him being out so long. I know he's been doing extensive workouts with Chris Brickley out here in the city, but I want to see how he's going to, because I don't expect him. I definitely don't expect him to be in the starting lineup. How is he going to be able to adjust to a possible minutes restriction? Just I don't want to call it a minutes restriction because he's not hurt or anything, but like just a lack of minutes because they're trying to find time to put everybody in there.
Yeah, I think minutes are gonna kind of come by committee. I think it's gonna be on a nightly type of basis thing. I think whoever's having the better night is kind of who's gonna get the minutes. And I think the starter will probably come down to whoever fits better around Braun. That's kind of why I think KCP kind of will start because he can shoot and he also plays defense. Not saying that Rondo doesn't, but Rondo can't really shoot and kind of Rondo needs the ball in his hand. And I think with Braun in the lineup, I think they kind of want to let LeBron continue playing point like he's been doing all year. So I think the minutes around that are just gonna, especially at the guard spot, are gonna come by committee. I think whoever's having a better night shooting, maybe having a better night playing defense, kind of what they need from their guard, from whatever the night may be. I think that's who's kind of gonna get the minutes. I think starting wise, it's probably gonna come down to who's fitting around Braun better. But I think on a nightly basis, he'll probably switch up his lineups, and whoever's having a better game is who probably get the most minutes on that night. Now, as far as Jr., I think he's gonna have to adjust his bench role. I think he has had a lot of time to be out the league and kind of get himself together. So it might be his last shot. So if he can't adjust to this role coming off the bench right now, I think he might not ever get another shot because he might just be a bench player from here. So I think, but it's possible that he can come and maybe get back to starting if he can come out there and play defense and hit shots. But I think he's definitely gonna have to adapt to that bench role. If he doesn't, then I think his minutes are definitely going to dwindle. And like I said, that could be another thing that can cause a problem. So, like I said, who knows what can happen down there with them just bringing new people in. So they know the certain people that they had now is okay with not getting minutes and stuff like that. So what if they bring Jr. in and he's expecting more minutes and he doesn't get it, and that can cause a problem. So now what if it's the same thing with Dion Waiters? Now both of them are not getting the minutes, and now both of them are causing problems. Not with each other, but not with the team. That's what I'm saying. Like bringing new people in could cause a problem.
Yeah, and I completely agree with everything that you said there. And we're gonna get to see a first game back, prime time 9 p.m. as I mentioned earlier. So with everything said, the Clippers for the most part have their rotations for the most part have their rotations figured out and everything. I think they've got the Lakers completely beat in coaching from the head coach on down. Maybe they don't have the firepower in their two leading men that the Lakers have, but those two guys that they do have are good enough. What do you expect to see once those two match up on July 30th?
On opening night, I think I think that's going to be real interesting. I'm kind of, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna go with the Lakers, and here's why I'm gonna go with the Lakers. I'm gonna pick the Lakers on July 30th because when play did stop, I think the Lakers were kind of on a high. I think they're gonna kind of gonna come in and try to keep that going. I think they're gonna Ron's probably gonna sit the team down and talk about let's get back to where we were before the postpone happened. I think they just had beat the Clippers and they just had beat the Bucks. So I think they watched some footage of that and they say LeBron and the coach kind of tells them like let's get back to that. Let's kind of come back on that high that we ended off with. I think they'll probably watch some footage of the game that they beat the Clippers and see what they did right against the Clippers and kind of trying to use that same thing and that same momentum coming into the game. So I'm gonna pick the Lakers on this one. Opening night back. I think Bron's gonna be hyped. The team's gonna be hyped. They're gonna come in and try to ride that same high, and I think they'll get them on this night.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there, man. I um I think that the fact that they stopped the season when I agree the Lakers were on a high, but I think them stopping the season while they were on that high is going to hurt them tremendously. That momentum that they had going down that stretch into the postseason isn't there anymore. These guys got to reset. We kind of mentioned already they're bringing in new pieces. They got to find a way to integrate these guys. Whereas the Clippers, for the most part, again, they know what they're doing. They know what they have. Not only that, but Kawhi is like a silent killer. He that dude really is a competitor. I think he's gonna want he's gonna want to get them back for that last loss that they took to the Lakers last time we seen them play, and Doc is gonna be ready to go as well. I got the Lakers. I got the Clippers winning that game.
I'm still gonna stick with my pick with the Lakers. And here's another thing. I think we kind of talked about it. A lot of people can talk about it. The media has been trying to give Braun that MVP award, and with those last two games against the Clippers and the Bucks before the season ended, a lot of people have have started to think that the gap has been closing a lot between him and Giannis. I think Braun's gonna come out, especially with this time off in between, to show people that he still got it. That's just another reason to kind of display his greatness, being 37, I believe he is, taking time off mid-season and coming back and still playing at a high level. I think Braun's going to try to take that and build his MVP campaign a little more. So I think Braun's going to come out and try to get that one. So I'm sticking with the Lakers.
Oh, that's fine. LeBron definitely still got some in the tank. He's not going to win MVP. Yeah, that's locked up. We're a part of the media, but I'm just giving you my actual opinion here. But Giannis is winning back-to-back MVPs. Um, one thing
I
I will
know.
say, one thing I will say that I am worried about with the Clippers, arguably their best scorer on the team might not rejoin them in Lou Williams. So that's definitely something that we got to watch out for. My personal opinion, I think he will come back, but it's definitely something to look out for, and it'll hurt them tremendously if he's not back.
I agree. It would hurt them tremendously if he's not back. They're six man, one of their best scorers, especially late in the game. He's come up clutch since he's been with the Clippers, and maybe even before that. So I think that they're definitely going to need him, and I just don't know who kind of replaces him off the bench. I mean, like you said, they signed a lot of players and Reggie Jackson and a lot of people to strengthen their bench, but I just don't think no one's going to bring the firepower that Lou Will brings. His unorthodox scoring, his kind of leaning to the side kind of shot. I think he's just too crafty for certain defenders. Yeah, so I think it's a big loss for them. And if he doesn't come back, like you said, that's something definitely to watch for. If he doesn't come back, I my pick is looking great. I'm not gonna lie, but I think the Clippers should be a little worried. So, but I think there's a championship on the line, and I think he sees the moment. He's been in the league for a while now, and I'm not sure if he's kind of ever had this opportunity. I think he's gonna come back and kind of go for this one.
All right, so before we get out of here, I want to ask you one more thing because I had to get your opinion on this. We think it's going to be the consensus is it'll be in LA, whether it's the Clippers or the Lakers, versus Milwaukee finals. Who's stopping one of those three teams from making that happen?
Stopping one of the three teams. All right, I'm gonna give you two answers. I'm gonna give you one from the East that could stop the Bucks. I'm gonna give you one from the West. I'm gonna start off with the East. They haven't had the greatest season this year, but I still think in a series, if they can get it together, the 76ers can stop this. We saw how upset Embiid was after that Game 7 crushing loss to Kawhi Leonard's game-winning shot. I think with the time off, Brett Brown has had a lot of time. His job is kind of on the line too. We talked about this job's on the line. He's kind of on the hot seat too. He has had a lot of time to sit down, reflect on the season, and kind of figure out how to maybe fit Al Horford into the puzzle. Kind of fit the other pieces. Maybe get Ben Simmons to shoot some more threes like you were bringing up. And like you said, they're saying that Embiid is healthy. So if Embiid is healthy and he's hungry, and Brett Brown can get it together and kind of figure it out. We all know that he's a great coach. He just kind of has to figure out with this new lineup. I think Tobias Harris, I seen him, I think he was on First Take, talking about how he's ready to go. So I think the Sixers, if they can get it together in a playoff series, I think they can shock anybody. They just have to get it together. And that's kind of what we've been saying about them all year. I think they need some more shooting over there, but if they can get it together, I think they're a dangerous team, a surprise team that could make a finals run. Now in the Western Conference, I'm gonna have to go with the Rockets. We talked about this earlier. The Rockets could shock anybody. They're like, we don't know what we're gonna get out of them. But like you said, they have two heavy hitters, and with that, you always have a puncher's chance because if those heavy hitters hit you with a good shot in your chin, it's probably over. So I think with those two out there, if they can get it together, James Harden's been looking good, working out. If he comes back fully in shape, ready to run. Like I brought this up on the podcast before, how Russell Westbrook has kind of changed the way people play. If he comes back looking like how PG did when he after playing with Russ, how Oladipo did after playing with Russ mid-season, I think they're dangerous. We kind of thought they were dangerous before, but now if they're on the same page like that, they're definitely dangerous. Another coach that's on the hot seat, Mike D'Antoni. I think he's gonna try to figure it out. So I think that that small ball lineup's been a killer. Like we said, that small ball lineup can work. It cannot work. We've seen it work. We've seen it not work. Like I said, right before the postponements happened, the problem was I was feeling like their legs were kind of tired. They had their legs under them. It's kind of like a race to the finish now. There's 8 games and then it's straight to the playoffs. I think with the 8 games can kind of help them get their legs back. And then by the time playoffs come, I think their legs will be exactly where they want it. So if they get that team, the players are hitting shot. Russell Westbrook's playing like how he was before the season had ended, kind of at the MVP level. Got his shooting percentage up to like 47% from the field. So if Russell Westbrook comes back like that, and like I said, James Harden comes back on uh, figuring out how to play with Russ and back in shape, I think they're dangerous. I think I wouldn't want to play them even if I was the Lakers or the Clippers.
I completely agree with everything you said. Um, this is pretty much Brett told you. You mentioned it, but I'm just kind of echoing it now because I brought up how this D'Antoni's kind of this could be his last ride. This is probably Brett Brown's last ride if they can't get anything done. Um, I actually thought you were going to say the Boston Celtics, but I'm really glad that you said the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, man. They, we kind of talked about them before too, having the best, record at home, throughout the league. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how these guys fit in together. Is Tobias? Hey, I also saw him on First Take as well. Is he going to be able to step up like they need him to and paid him to? Can they get Ben Simmons to start taking those shots that they're going to need him to take in order for them to get further than they can. What are they sitting at 6 right now?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, 6.
So look at the irony right there. 2 6 seeds that everybody thinks. Um, but yeah, I don't really have to get into the Houston Rockets. I've been waving that flag for a couple months now. So I ain't got no much to add there. I completely agree with everything that you said. But yeah, man, that's the show. No, I'm lying. One of the we're not something really to get into though, but Ava DuVernay, who produced the limited series regarding the Central Park, or shall I say the Exonerated Five, called When They See Us, is putting she and Colin Kaepernick has struck a deal with Netflix to put a deal to put a 6-part series out on Colin Kaepernick's early years, mostly pertaining to when he was in high school and what led him to become the activist that he is today. No specific release date on when that'll come out. I forget the young man who's going to be playing a young Colin Kaepernick, but Colin Kaepernick will be be narrating this, so that's definitely going to be something to watch out for. We talked about him, possibly getting a job in the league as well. I know I've heard mixed. I don't know what you've heard. I've heard mixed reports. Stephen A. Smith was on First Take yesterday. Regarding news with Cam Newton, said Colin was somebody that the Patriots were also looking at, but ultimately decided to go to Cam because he's been more recent in the league than Colin, who was out for about since 2016, so about 4 years now. We talked about Anthony Lynn, his comments about possibly bringing him in. Talking about the mixed reports, I've heard multiple teams have shown interest in signing Colin Kaepernick, and I've also heard um, some rebuttals to this that nobody's actually contacted him. I think I speak for both of us when I say we want him in the league, but as far as him actually getting in there, I don't know. It's going to be tough to see.
Yeah, well, to start with the movie, I think, or is it the series? To start with the movie, the series. Sorry, I think that's definitely something people want to see. I think it's kind of the right time with all the Black Lives Matter and stuff going on. I think people kind of it's good to bring light to him, the one who kind of sacrificed his job and stuff on the line to try to bring change here. So I think it's definitely something that I'm going to be interested in watching. So I can't wait to see. I love the When You See Us. What was it, 4-part series, a 3-part series? I thought that was a touching, very great series. So I think teaming up with her is going to be beautiful. Uh, as far as Colin Kaepernick, like you said, I kind of been hearing the same things. I want to see, like you said, I want to see him get back in the league because I definitely think he deserves it. But I want him to see him get back in the league because people really want him. You know what I mean? I don't want it to just be like, oh, things are changing, the Black Lives Matter movement, all that type of stuff, and they kind of want to just give him a shot to feel good or to make things seem better. I think if you, like I said, I kind of said this last week, or maybe I think it was last week, yeah, on the podcast, like I don't want people capitalizing on the moment. Like, if you really want to give him a shot, give him a shot. But give him a shot because you want to give him a shot. Because I feel like it's just unfair to him to kind of bring him in on some. I don't want to say pity, but kind of like a pity thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of just bringing him in to say like, yeah, we brought kind of Kaepernick in type of thing. So I think if teams are really out there interested in him, then I love it. I love it. Get him out there. I think he deserves a shot. We saw him work out. He looked great to me. So I think he definitely deserves a shot. But like I said, I feel like it has to be somewhere where they really want him, so he really gets a shot. You know what I mean? Because if the team doesn't really want him, he's not really getting a shot. I want him to really get somewhere where he can get a shot and get out there and run the show he can do.
And I mean, from what I know, Colin works out about five. He gets up around 5 a.m. 5 days a week to get football workouts in. Whether it's lifting, going out there working out with receivers to, get some throws off and things like that. Obviously, it's not the same as being on there on the field in real game speed and being in actual football shape. But as far as being ready for the opportunity, he's gone out and done everything to the best of his ability to make sure that he will be ready, and he gave us a glimpse of that in Atlanta when after the NFL's botched workout, when he had to scramble to put his own together and be able to show us that he still looks pretty good out here. So I also echo those sentiments. I want to see him go out there and get a real shot. I was just kind of telling somebody today, and again, like I brought this up on here too. How the narratives kind of switched up with a lot of false narratives on Colin Kaepernick and how good he is. You go back, I'll just touch on it quickly because I've touched on it so many times. You go back and look at his individual numbers during that 2016 season. They weren't bad. He actually 2016 was the year that the Giants made the playoffs. You would say Eli Manning had a pretty good year. Colin Kaepernick, as far as numbers say, had a better year than Eli Manning. The San Francisco 49ers were just not a good team, had one of the worst defenses in the league. Their receiving core um, was like, I believe, top 2 in drop passes. Did I mention that Chip Kelly was the head coach?
Not
Um,
right now, but I've seen you bring it up before.
so there's that. Didn't have the greatest line, and so many times he put them in positions to win, and defense. Other team gets the ball back on the offensive side. Defense just fails. So you know the guy can play. You don't just make a Super Bowl lead a team to the Super Bowl off luck. I believe he still has the record for most rushing yards by a quarterback in a playoff game. So I'm rooting for the guy. I'm glad to see everything that he's out here doing. He's got I believe, a publishing deal as well. He's going to be doing some interviews with other athletes regarding activism and things like that. His own interview series. So, I commend that guy. He's our modern day Muhammad Ali, and I want to see that guy get a chance to do the things that I know that he loves to do, because you don't wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning for 5 days a week and not want to play football.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Second everything you said. I agree with everything you said. Like I said, I think that there was probably some teams out there that were kind of looking at him before, but maybe didn't want to touch him because everything that was going on. now that that's lifted, if those teams are still interested, I think they definitely should give him a shot. And like I said, I want him to get a team that really wants him, so he gets a real shot, not just a team that wants to like I said, capitalize on the moment. But yeah, like I said, I agree with everything you said. I think he'll be ready if he gets the opportunity with a team that really wants him. So I think that's all we can ask for right now.
Yeah, and know that even if you're a contending team, he doesn't have to be your starting quarterback. With somebody that's going to go out there and be able to help, like a Lamar Jackson, for everything that he's been able to accomplish in these first 2 years he's been in the league, can learn a thing or two from having Colin Kaepernick in that quarterback room with him. Lamar Jackson's offensive coordinator was actually Colin Kaepernick's offensive coordinator when Colin Kaepernick was leading the San Francisco 49ers to back-to-back NFC championships and a Super Bowl. That's useful stuff. They play very similar styles. Even a Patrick Mahomes who just won his first Super Bowl, it wouldn't hurt to have a Colin Kaepernick in the quarterback room to be able to bounce ideas off of and things like that. So this is all just because I think a lot of people are thinking, he's got to be a starter and stuff like that. And I think about that sometimes if, something goes wrong or people going to rush to say, put him out there and stuff like that. But my point of saying that is, just bring him in, to be able to be a part of that quarterback room and, help your starter if need be. I really don't think he'd have a problem with that. So, we here at the Rundown wish him all the best. We hope that he does get a legitimate opportunity. And enough said.
Definitely. I don't think there's anything else to say after that. I think what you brought up is maybe something that a lot of people aren't even thinking about. I think him not even having to be a starter and willing to work with some of the young guys who kind of play like how he played. So like I said, there's not too much I can add to that. I think that was just perfect.
Yeah, man, that was our show this week.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Dame has been announced as the 2K cover athlete. What are your thoughts?
Not mad at it. Don't need it. I didn't need to have Dame on 2K, especially when I plan on getting a PlayStation 5 this year. Quick plug. I'm not mad at it though. Dame is pretty much, for the most part, the reason that the Portland Trail Blazers are in the position that they're in to get into the playoffs. He's a big reason why they went to the Western Conference Finals last year. Such an underrated player. I root for him, for stuff like that. He's got some of the most clutchest shots I've ever seen. So not mad at it. Also could have did without it, but nonetheless, congratulations to Dame. Since you're saying that, though, because I know you're going to give your thoughts, too, I did want to say this. Vasily Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez, September 19th, just got the breaking news a little while ago. That's going down. So, yeah, it's going to be a great week.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna be honest, a little hate's gonna come out of me. I don't like it. I don't like it. And here's the reason why. He's the cover athlete off the strength of us. That last second game winning, series winning.
Yo, you're a
Shot.
journalist. You're supposed to take you're supposed to have your objectivity involved in this stuff, man.
I showed him this love all episode. I'm gonna, you feel me? Everything's off right now. I don't like it. I
Very
mean,
unprofessional of you.
I did hear there's supposed to be 3 cover athletes. I'm pretty sure the legend athlete, which would probably be Kobe. So RIP Kobe, and hopefully we get that. But I did hear there's supposed to be a second athlete announced, and I would love if it was Russ. People talk about the Russ versus Dame type of thing. To have both of them on the cover would be good. But as of right now, he's on this cover off the strength of our backs, the Thunder. So I'm standing for every Thunder fan right now. We don't like it. Take it back, 2K. Take it back.
I want to apologize for that lack of objectivity from my partner over here.
I warned everybody before it happened. All right, I'm back to normal now. Shout out to Dave now.
It's all good, man. Shout out to Dave, man. A lot of interesting stuff going on, man. I'm probably gonna get the Legends cover. I'm not gonna lie to you, but
I am
hard copy too.
I'm pitching for Russ to be on the second cover. If there's a second cover, like I heard, Russ has to be on it. The Russ versus Dame thing is what everybody wanted to see. I mean, you say Game 1 because of the shot in the playoff series, whatever. I want Russ on there.
All right. With that being said,
Well, that means lights out. That means the episode's over, guys.
I was just gonna say that. Oh man, want to thank you guys for tuning in again. Another great episode in the books. We'll see you guys, maybe this week, maybe next week, who knows. But with that being said, this was your weekly rundown. You guys have a good one.